everybody, welcome back. I am Niharika and we are going to learn today about giving and responding to news. Now I'm not asking you to be a news reporter here, but there are times in life when we have to inform about certain things that go on in life. So how do you do that? We are going to look at some phrases that would help you to give and to respond to good news and bad news. So to begin with, we are going to look at some phrases to give good news, because good news would always receive favorable responses. So let's get started with it. The first phrase here is, I am really pleased to tell you. Now this can be a written news or when you are trying to announce something positive. So people will end up saying, I'm really pleased to tell you that our company has been awarded for the best sales for the year. Now, if you go to see this kind of an announcement, it's not necessary that it has to be directly linked to the person you're writing or to the person that you're announcing this news to. It's just a kind of way of announcing it to people or to different people of your company that can create a very positive environment. Okay, so I am really pleased to tell you, or I am really pleased to inform you that our company has been awarded as the best company for the sales or for any sort of things. Another one is, I have got a bit of news. Now, this can be in a formal situation or in an informal situation as well. So, if I end up going to my friend and I say, I have got a bit of news to tell you. So, it's a very positive way of announcing something. So, probably, I'm getting married. And I would say, hey, you know what? I have a bit of news to tell you. I might get married in next 3 months. So it's a good news, right? So this is the way you can announce a good news to your friend, or in a formal situation, you can announce it to your colleague or to your boss. The third phrase or the third expression that I have for you is, I have some great news. Or I have some brilliant news, or any kind of adjective. I have some fantastic news for you, or I have some wonderful news for you. So these are all positive adjectives that you can use to announce a good news to someone. Now remember, a good news is always a positive news, but before you announce something, it's important for you to summarize your ideas and then announce it. And do watch your tone. You need to have that positivity in your tone. So these are the different phrases or expressions that you can use to give a good news to someone. Now, how would you respond to a good news? Of course, you are not going to be upset. You're going to show your happiness, right? Now, of course, by showing happiness doesn't mean that you're not going to say anything. There are some right phrases that you can use to respond to a good news. So the first one that I have for you is, wow, that sounds exciting. So probably your friend comes and tells you, hey, I'm getting married next month. So the way you would react or the way you would respond to this news would be, wow, that sounds exciting. Okay? The second one here is, congratulations. I'm glad to hear that. So somebody comes and tells you, hey, I got promoted. So the first thing that you would do is congratulate that person. So you would say, hey, congratulations. I am glad to hear that. So this is the way you are showing your happiness. All right? And then the third phrase is, how fantastic. Or again, you can add any kind of an adjective. How fantastic is that? How brilliant is that? How wonderful is that? Okay, so these are the different positive adjectives that you can use to respond to a good news. Now let's have a look at some bad news. Now unfortunately, bad things do happen in life and we all want to avoid it. But then it's important for us to communicate bad news to people. There are different types of bad news. Maybe you want to inform your team members about layoffs, or maybe about a closure of a project, or even somebody's death. So these are all bad news. And there's a way to inform people about these bad things. How do you do that? Let's have a look. Now before we get started with this, always remember that when you are giving out a bad news, you have to be honest and you need to empathize as well. So how do you do that? Let's have a look. The first one here is, I'm afraid. I have got some bad news for you. So if you look at this phrase here, it shows that yes, you do have something bad to tell someone, to inform someone about. But then again, you are very nervous. So you start by saying, I'm afraid I have got some bad news. Probably this company would not be with us for the next 2 years. Maybe we are losing on this project. So this is a bad news that you're sharing with your team members. Another way of giving a bad news is, I'm sorry to have to say it, but probably you will be laid off. So here again, you are giving a bad news to your team member about a layoff. So you can say, I'm sorry to have to say it. This means that you're showing that, it's so difficult for me to tell you that you are being laid off. Okay? So that's another way to give a bad news. The third phrase that I have for you is, I really don't know how to say it, but your mom is really serious. She's hospitalized. So here again, you are a little nervous about informing this to your friend, but you just got to know that his mom is hospitalized. So you have to break that news to him. How would you do that? I really don't know how to say it. So you're uncomfortable, you're nervous, but you have to say it. So that's another way to give a bad news. Now, we learned how to give a bad news. But then, how do we respond to it? Certain times I have seen people just go blank. They have no idea what to respond or what to say. They just get a little speechless. So the right phrases that you can use are, the first one is, my goodness, that must be awful. So my goodness is an expression, or it's an exclamation that kind of explains that you are shocked. It's like a big surprise to you. You just can't believe it. And then you can empathize by saying, that must be awful. So someone told you that, I went shopping and I fell off the stairs and I broke my arm. So it's just unbelievable. So you're really shocked. So you're saying, my goodness. And then, you want to empathize with that person. So you would say, that must be awful. Okay? Another one is, poor you. I do sympathize. So here again, you are sympathizing for your friend, but you're also adding an exclamation saying, poor you. Okay? Then the third one here is, please accept my deepest sympathy. So here, probably someone has informed you about someone's death. Okay? So you need to give your condolences. How would you do that? The right expression is, please accept my deepest sympathy. Okay? This is the way you would sympathize with people who has just lost some dear ones. Okay? So these are the phrases that would help you to build your communication skills and it would help you to announce good news or bad news, and also how would you respond to it. I'll be back with a new lesson. Till then, you take care and have a good day.